Did you know that astronauts in space actually experience time differently than we do here on Earth? It's all thanks to Einstein's theory of relativity, which gave us the concept of time dilation. Basically, the faster you travel, or the closer you are to a massive object, the slower time passes for you. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station, for example, are moving at around 17,500 miles per hour, orbiting Earth. Because they're moving so fast and are slightly farther from the pull of Earth's gravity, time ticks just a tiny bit slower for them than it does for us on Earth. After spending 6 months aboard the ISS, an astronaut will have aged about 0.005 seconds less than those of us down here. It's a small difference, but technically, that makes them time travelers. Speaking of the effects of gravity, nothing warps time and space like black holes. Black holes are regions of space where gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. But what happens if you fall into one? Here's where things get really strange. As you approach the black hole's event horizon, the point of no return, you would begin to experience something called spaghettification. This is where the intense gravitational pull stretches you out like a piece of spaghetti, pulling on the atoms in your body until you're essentially a thin strand of matter. From your own perspective, things might not seem too strange at first. You wouldn't immediately notice anything different until the gravity becomes overwhelmingly strong. But to an outside observer, it would look like you're freezing in place, slowly fading from view as you approach the event horizon. Time, from their perspective, would appear to slow down as you get closer to the black hole. And then, you'd vanish, trapped forever inside the black hole's mysterious singularity, where the laws of physics as we know them no longer apply. What happens inside? No one really knows. It remains one of the greatest mysteries of the universe. While we're talking about black holes, did you know that there are supermassive black holes lurking at the center of almost every galaxy, including our own? The Milky Way's central black hole is called Sagittarius A, and it's about 4 million times the mass of the Sun. Supermassive black holes like this one are millions, if not billions, of times larger than regular black holes. How they form and grow to such enormous sizes is still a mystery, but they play a critical role in the evolution of galaxies. These cosmic giants sometimes devour stars that stray too close, creating massive bursts of energy known as quasars, some of the brightest objects in the universe. Quasars are so luminous that they can outshine entire galaxies, and they can be seen billions of light years away. Next, let's move to something more tangible but equally weird: planets. You've probably heard of the planets in our solar system, but did you know that some exoplanets, planets that orbit stars outside our solar system, are far stranger than anything we've ever imagined? One of the weirdest exoplanets we know of is 55 Cancri e. This planet is a super-Earth, which means it's larger than Earth but smaller than gas giants like Neptune. What makes it truly bizarre is its composition. Scientists believe that 55 Cancri e might be rich in carbon, and because of the extreme pressure and heat on the planet, this carbon could be in the form of diamond. That's right, a planet covered in diamonds, where it could literally rain diamond crystals from the sky. This incredible planet orbits its star at such a close distance that its surface temperature reaches 4,300 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to vaporize metal. Talk about a planet that's as beautiful as it is hostile. Speaking of space jewels, did you know that there's a star that's essentially a massive crystal floating in space? Meet BPM 37093, also known as Lucy, after the famous Beatles song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Lucy is a white dwarf, the remaining core of a star that's burned through all of its fuel and collapsed. But what makes Lucy extraordinary is that its core is made almost entirely of crystallized carbon, essentially a giant cosmic diamond. This crystallized star is about 4,000 kilometers across and is located about 50 light-years away in the constellation Centaurus. If you could somehow collect all of its crystallized material, it would weigh 10 billion trillion carats. It's the largest diamond we've ever discovered in the universe, and it gives a whole new meaning to the phrase, a diamond in the sky. But stars aren't just cosmic gems. Some are home to phenomena that are mind-bogglingly extreme. Take neutron stars, for example. These are the remnants of massive stars that have gone supernova. When a star that's many times larger than the Sun collapses, it forms a neutron star, which is incredibly small, often no more than 12 miles across, but so dense that a sugar cube-sized piece of it would weigh 1 billion tons. Neutron stars also have insanely strong magnetic fields, and some of them spin at ridiculous speeds, rotating hundreds of times per second. These spinning neutron stars are called pulsars, and they shoot beams of radiation into space like cosmic lighthouses. Pulsars are so consistent that scientists have used them as cosmic clocks, helping to measure time with extreme precision. Now let's zoom in on moons. Everyone knows Earth has just one moon, but did you know that Jupiter has 79 moons? One of its moons, Europa, is particularly fascinating because scientists believe it might have a hidden ocean beneath its icy surface. Europa is covered in a thick layer of ice, but below that ice, there's evidence of a vast, salty ocean that could contain more water than all of Earth's oceans combined. This has made Europa one of the top candidates for the potential existence of extraterrestrial life in our solar system. The conditions in Europa's ocean could be similar to the deep-sea environments on Earth, where hydrothermal vents support life without sunlight. Could there be alien organisms, perhaps even complex ones, swimming beneath Europa's icy crust? Future space missions could give us the answer. Let's not forget about Saturn's moon Titan, which is one of the most Earth-like worlds we've ever discovered, though in a very alien way. Titan has rivers, lakes, and even seas, but they aren't filled with water. Instead, they're made of liquid methane and ethane, creating a landscape that's both familiar and strange. What's even more mind-blowing is that it rains on Titan. Methane forms clouds in its thick, nitrogen-rich atmosphere and falls as rain, just like water does here on Earth. This has led to theories that Titan could harbor life forms that survive on methane, living in conditions completely different from any life we know on Earth. Titan's thick atmosphere also gives it a strange, hazy appearance and makes it the only moon in the solar system with a dense atmosphere. While we're talking about mysteries, let's explore something really eerie: the Bode's Void, often called the Great Nothing. This massive region of space is about 330 million light-years across, and it's almost entirely empty. It contains very few galaxies compared to other parts of the universe. To give you an idea of how empty it is, if our Milky Way were placed in the middle of the Bode's Void, we wouldn't have discovered any other galaxies until the 1960s, because they're so far apart. Scientists are still trying to understand how such a large void exists in a universe that's otherwise filled with galaxies, stars, and planets. It's one of the strangest and most unsettling places in the cosmos, a place where nothingness reigns. And here's something else to blow your mind. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is on a collision course with the Andromeda Galaxy. But don't panic, this cosmic crash won't happen for another 4.5 billion years. When the two galaxies finally collide, it will create a spectacular cosmic event. But it might not be as catastrophic as it sounds. Even though the Milky Way and Andromeda each contain billions of stars, the distances between those stars are so vast that very few, if any, will actually collide. Instead, the two galaxies will merge into a new, larger galaxy, possibly called Milkomeda. It will be a slow process, taking millions of years, but eventually, the night sky from Earth will look dramatically different as the Andromeda Galaxy gets closer and closer. But the universe isn't just about massive collisions and voids. It's also full of rogue wanderers. Scientists have discovered that there are rogue planets floating through space, unattached to any star. These planets don't orbit a star like Earth does around the Sun. Instead, they drift aimlessly through the galaxy, possibly after being ejected from their original solar systems by gravitational interactions. Some estimates suggest that there may be more rogue planets in our galaxy than there are stars. These lonely wanderers, floating in the darkness of space without the warmth of a parent star, might have bizarre and extreme environments. Some of these rogue planets could even have thick atmospheres that trap enough heat to maintain liquid water, raising the tantalizing possibility that life could exist on these isolated worlds. The discovery of rogue planets is still relatively new, and who knows what other secrets they might be hiding. Speaking of isolated objects, have you ever heard of Oumuamua? This cigar-shaped object was the first interstellar object ever detected passing through our solar system. In 2017, astronomers were stunned when Oumuamua zipped past the sun at an incredible speed, unlike anything seen before. Its strange shape, unusual trajectory, and high speed led to all kinds of speculation. Some scientists even wondered if it could be an alien spacecraft. While that theory is still highly debated, Oumuamua's true origin and nature remain a mystery. Was it a piece of a broken planet, a comet from another star system, or something even more exotic? We may never know, but its fleeting visit gave us a glimpse of the mysteries lurking beyond our solar system. And while we're on the topic of the unknown, we can't leave out the Fermi paradox, one of the greatest questions about space. With billions of galaxies, each containing billions of stars and likely even more planets, the universe should be teeming with life. So why haven't we found any aliens yet? This paradox, named after physicist Enrico Fermi, asks why, given the vastness of the universe, there's such a deafening silence from other intelligent civilizations. Are we alone in the universe? Are advanced civilizations so far away that we'll never hear from them? Or could they be deliberately avoiding us? It's a question that has puzzled scientists and stargazers for decades, and it remains one of the biggest mysteries of space. Let's move on to a lighter note. Did you know that space smells? When astronauts return from spacewalks, they often describe a strange odor that clings to their suits. Some say it smells like burnt metal, others compare it to welding fumes or even seared steak. The source of this smell comes from high-energy particles in space that collide with spacecraft or spacesuits, creating a distinctive chemical reaction. While space itself is a vacuum and doesn't have a traditional scent, the particles astronauts encounter outside Earth's atmosphere leave behind a weird, unforgettable odor. And if you think that's crazy, check out these facts about Mars you didn't know.